This is a Novacare Thought Leadership Series brought to you by the team building Novacare Hospital Islamabad.
So welcome everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
This is our long promised series on the building, and we are quite fortunate to be sitting inside the building right now. It's towards the end of the day, the last day before Ramzan. So tomorrow we start fasting. And we are sitting here right now on the third floor of the building.
Yeah.
So this is where our modular operating theaters will be in the future.
Yeah.
Is that right?
No.
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 Where are we sitting in the lab?
We are sitting in the lab at the moment. So, yeah.
Our modular operating theaters are actually on the floor below.
Yeah. Below.
Right below. I was a little bit disoriented. So we're sitting in the lab actually. And we will move in a little bit into the atrium also under lights. So we'll get the spectacle of the atrium also, one of the iconic features of this building. We'll keep this one relatively short and crisp. We want to cover 3 topics today. One, what makes a project like this challenging? This is a fast-track project. It's being built here in Pakistan. And it's also a hospital project, which makes it more distinctive than any other type of engineering or civil construction challenge. And then we'll also talk about sort of what makes this building in particular, the design and engineering, very, very distinctive. As always in these podcasts, what we do is we introduce each other. That's how this goes. But what I'll do generally is I represent Novacare as the sort of the owner of this project or the client on this project. And I'm very, very delighted to be joined by 2 colleagues from Maven Projects Limited, who are both the design consultants on the project on the detailed design side, also integrating all the engineering on the project, and then running the construction project management. I will make one shameless plug for Maven, which is I don't think there is a team of the quality and the professionalism and depth of expertise that Maven brings to this project. So we're actually quite fortunate to be working with colleagues like Junaid Bhai and Usman Bhai on this project. What we normally do is we introduce the person to the right. So I will start by introducing Junaid Bhai, and in a very simple, crisp way. So Junaid Bhai is the main sort of construction project director on this project from Maven Projects. Within Maven, he's also the chief operating officer of Maven Projects. And I believe Junaid Bhai has decades of experience running various construction projects on all sides of the table, both as a contractor and also in this sort of capacity on the consultant and on the project management side. And what I normally hear, I don't remember your CV sort of line by line, but I know you were involved with major sort of top-tier construction companies in Pakistan like Paragon. You were involved in the construction of some very, very iconic projects like the new Telenor head office in Gulberg Greens.
Yeah.
So Junaid Bhai, do you want to introduce Usman Bhai?
Yeah, I will do that. Thank you. So thank you for having us today. It's very delightful to be sat across the floor that we imagined happening on time. And alhamdulillah, we were able to do the structure part of it on time. So Usman is our colleague who is the principal building systems engineer in Maven Projects. Prior to Maven Projects, Usman has at least 2 decades of experience, again, in a complex project environment, delivering complex process industry and hospital and regular mixed-use residential and commercial projects. What's very unique to Usman and the team that he manages is that these guys come from an execution turned to design and then procurement plus contract administration background. So it makes it with Usman's present on our side, it makes it a very unique proposition for Maven Projects that, across all the project life cycles, we're in safe hands. even if we're doing the detailed design part within Usman's functions within ourselves, or if you're even building someone else's design, we know Usman has that acumen to actually go through all the project life cycle phases prior to actually having them conceive on ground and giving us the right advice at the right time. So I'm very fortunate to be sat across Usman today in general and every day in particular. He's my aide in so many ways. I could not imagine having a better person in my team within Maven or otherwise in my career who's so focused on delivery, understands the other side of the picture, and is, very easy going at the same time to work with.
Thank you. Thank you, Junaid bhai. So generous. So it's my turn to introduce Ghalib bhai. Ghalib bhai is everything for us for this project. He's a founding partner for the Andalus Holding, and he is managing this project from start to end. And he's a man who conceived this project that much. Nobody have the idea how they have to proceed, how to do. And he's the man of army, the single man army. He's taking all the challenges, all the problems he's solving, and he's the mastermind of this project. So,
All right. Okay, thank you. And I'll just add to Usman Bhai's introduction that I think everybody in Pakistan, especially all vendors, know him.
As well.
The feedback we keep receiving is, we wish he was on our side of the table.
Yeah.
We're quite fortunate to have him on our side of the table. But the one thing I would add is, in spite of all the challenge that we provide to all of our vendors and partners, I think everyone walks away with a big smile after, even when we have a tough conversation. And, that's what makes working on a project like this such a joy.
Definitely.
So, okay, let's start with the first question, which is what makes a project like this challenging? I'll frame it by saying it's very, very fast track. We are in Islamabad, Pakistan, thousands of kilometers away from the nearest port. We have to rely on global supply chains. But also in September 2024, this was just a hole. And now we have an entire building. And inshallah, in 8-9 months, this will be finished, deep cleaned and handed over.
Inshallah.
So what makes a project like this challenging?
At a very high level, Ghalib bhai, the proposition of having a fast track project in Pakistan, generally, if it were a basic project where you're doing a core and shell and then someone else does the better part of it, everyone understands that kind of a project, which would be a fast track project. But for a hospital project, the concept of integrated design delivery is at a whole new level. Now, imagine bringing in a no limit contracting company, which has the financial muscle and resources to pull it off in X amount of time, and they normally do, all the frontier companies. In the process you're designing, and this is where you're choosing amongst systems which have a very long-term impact on the serviceability of the building. You come across various skill sets. You don't get best of everything in one place when you're designing the better part of building systems or you're selecting contractors from. So this is where the integrated design and delivery part comes in. The idea of hiring different trade specialist companies in the global context, you don't have to worry about any company not having the right financial muscle or the right resources or access to backup vendor support, principal manufacturer support. But in Pakistan, all of these challenges are very real. You hire on a piece of paper, you go through projects, you meet their best people or good people pitching projects. But when they come on ground, this is where the real deal is. As soon as you go across the first 3 months, you'll find out a host of problems that you wouldn't have envisaged unless you're into the job. And this is where you have to take very smart, timely decisions. This is where you keep contracts and their essence alive and do a lot of tweaking meanwhile. And this is the business proposition that, my colleague Usman, I have learned from, to take that dive right at the moment and not to kind of procrastinate on it. So that's the problem for Pakistan in this kind of a fast-paced, multifaceted hospital delivery environment. Take the right decisions at the right time. Don't procrastinate. You keep the compliance part alive, but you keep it very practical at the same time.
Yeah. So if I would just synthesize, what you're saying is there are so many specialized components that are so integrated
Yeah.
that you necessarily have to rely on specialized vendors. But the other part of the challenge, you could get a single kind of turnkey
Yeah.
overall wrapper around it, so to speak. But the other challenge also is we're kind of designing or redesigning the plane at the same time as we are flying it, or, have partially built it. And that type of flexibility and freedom is required.
It's required, and it's not very fitting to the contracting environment in Pakistan to understand that, but these kind of projects go through that design and improvement execution curve. Yeah, that's where we kind of try to fill in our part and do what we do on a daily basis.
It's a lot of hammering.
Yeah, a lot of looking going on. It shows that we are on track and we are on feet. It's good to see. Fabulous, good to see.
Would you like to add anything?
Yeah. For me, every positive is challenging because every time whenever we start the project, things are challenging. Everyone thinks that his project is a priority. Is the most of us think that we are going to do. And yes, actually, whenever we start the project, we're doing it first time. And especially for the hospital project, yes, in Pakistan we have certain capacity to do. We have expertise, but we cannot say that we are full-fledged the command on the hospitals. We have still too much room to improvement. We can improve the designs because the hospital is the building with one of the most complex in the design part, and most importantly, the knowledge should be available in the locally is the main concern and the challenging part of such hospital type of building. And we're doing for the Novacare. The most the fascinating and the appealing thing for me is that the whole crew, all the teams are the more concerned about that design, the complexity of design to manage it with full of strength. They are taking the international all that experience. They're trying to impose and they are implemented here in the Pakistan, in Islamabad specifically. But it's not the easiest job to do in such environment where the most of our cream of the Pakistan going abroad, and to fascinate the people to come here and work in that environment. So this is the most appealing thing for me, that people are doing this type of things in Islamabad, specifically Novacare. There's a big appreciation for it.
Yeah. No, so I think we touched on a few themes. I think one, you sort of stated that a hospital project is more complex than any other type of building.
Yeah.
What makes it more complex?
The hospital buildings are the buildings which have the most building systems. In talking about the hotels, we can consider that also a complex, but they are working on for the just for the visitors comfort. But hospital that have more than the hotels services, and they have the biggest challenge they have to take care of the patient, which is not the easiest job. The job is not related only with the doctors and medical staff and the others. It's also the responsibility of all the facility management or of all the higher management to provide the best healthcare the services to the patient, and their all attendees, they have to satisfy. So the satisfaction is the biggest challenge for this trade of the buildings, and I think that if we get the satisfaction of the patients and their attendees, it's not easy, especially in Pakistan, where the environment is not that much comfortable, and things are not moving on as compared to Europe and the other.
So the building systems are more complex. If we just take the HVAC system, we have to worry about infection control, occupant comfort. People like myself also worry about the air conditioning bills and the energy efficiency, in addition to quality and safety. So we have to ensure that the right air changes are happening, the HEPA filtration, all of that is catered to. And at the same time, we haven't over-designed the building. We haven't over-specified it in any way. Similarly, you have a lot of smart systems operating. I mean, I think somebody mentioned that even compared to a hospitality project, the density of building systems, if you break down the bill of quantities, it's 3 times in a building like this.
True.
And all the systems need to talk to each other and ideally operate seamlessly.
Yes, of course. Another the biggest challenge also we are facing being as an engineer. We have in Pakistan we have not any local codes, so we have to follow the European and American codes, and this is the biggest as an engineer and as a main national person of Pakistan. I think that we should produce our local codes, and such institutes like Novacare and other bigger names should have to work on it, and they have to develop the local codes for the Pakistan people, and for the hospital projects.
Junaid Bhai, I've heard you say before that, and you've worked abroad also and in Pakistan. What is the difference also in terms of the cultural environment? And I don't just mean it in a negative way. You know, we can also take a lot of comfort in being at home and doing business, sort of in our own language and so on. But what are the main challenges here? One thing I would lead with is we are far away from the port.
Yeah.
So a lot of the supply chain stuff, I keep hearing that it's at Karachi port, that it will come here in a week or in 10 days. But we worry about, demurrage charges and things like that. So what one challenge is the supply chain, but what are the other challenges of, being here up in Islamabad?
So, up in Islamabad and Pakistan in general, very recently, and I think our project has also faced that disturbance. The socio-political landscape is so evolving that, almost all of the contractor delays come concurrent to the socio-political challenges that you get. I give you one example. Whenever we're shipping something that is very, very, very critical to the schedule, you'll come across that there is a political unrest situation and it gets stuck on the road. Now, from Karachi to Islamabad, you're looking at around 1,200 kilometers per se. So if it gets stuck in between, it's still in insurance, but the time part of it is not covered in insurance. This is just the cost part of it. So that disturbance is very real time for project managers like us who have had to manage it, because that's the kind of delays that you can't expect any contractors to recover. But in a fast track project environment, we're always trying to put together a recovery plan and trying to get the project flow to work in the right direction. That's one part of it. The other part of it, as Usman has already reflected upon, the cultural side, is that the systems that we execute to a project of this standard, Novacare, are, very particular to the OEM's specs, which means that whenever you choose a new product, there's a lot of training and commissioning part that needs to be covered inland, and there are experts that need to be flown in. Now, this is again a very unique proposition where at the procurement stage, you have to negotiate on certain aspects and then you have to leave some fat at the side for that part of the deal to close. So I think that working with you, especially Ghalib Bhai and some of the other colleagues that we have alongside Usman, Sadat Saab, for example, Faisal Saab, we have really found that intelligence in the client team to actually have an open source discussion with all of the prospect business partners that we engage with in the procurement process, and then trying to analyze their pricing methodology and to kind of accept all of the risks that we can accept in that price and get them to understand what did we tolerate in terms of buying quality. So that's very particular to Novacare's project. I think procurement and contractor choices that we have made on the project are very unique to the Pakistani environment, and this would be a lesson per se for others to follow.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're very excited about some of the equipment choices. I mean, we were talking about we're not in the OTs, but one floor below, we'll have our OTs, and the quality of the equipment that we're getting and the installation teams, we're blending sort of local expertise with global expertise there. And I don't think we'll see a quality of an operating theater complex of that standard anywhere else. So, some of these are quite unique. As owners or as clients, we understood that it's important to blend those two factors in
together.
I think the other question that I have is, I think Usman Bhai, you're quite technology oriented. anyone who follows you on LinkedIn, and I think you have tens of thousands of followers now. You're a mini celebrity. But I think we've been doing a lot of building information modeling.
Yeah.
So there is a digital twin of all the engineering on Revit. We use it for some of the basics like clash detection and so on. And we'll also use it once we go into maintenance and so on. I don't think the concept is that novel anymore. If we were talking about BIM or Revit 10 or 15 years ago, it would have been quite cool. I think now it ought to be sort of table stakes. But let's also talk about, sort of the nature of some of the contractors here, their comfort with documentation and so on, and how that fits into a project management methodology that is, based on international best practices, and, heavily oriented towards extensive documentation.
I think the BIM is compulsory for the such type of complex products. So we cannot say that we cannot use BIM in present or also in future. It can be advanced by using the AI and the certain sort of upcoming the technologies. BIM will improve. And without the BIM, I don't think so in the coming years any project can be executed. So yes, it is the most beneficial and the most supporting software for the clash detection, which can reduce our most of the time, which we can lose by solving this type of issues in the outside with the different vendors, with different contractors. The one of the biggest challenge in this our Novacare hospital is also that we have the multiple contractors here, and everyone is looking after their own job. They are not much bothering that to look after the others. And the coordination is the main responsibility for us as a Maven team. So, for the BIM is a blessing for us to use and to compensate all the abatters and resolve all the things. And yes, for the Pakistani environment, to handling the multiple contractors in the single project by doing the such fast track things, it is the biggest. It is a bit challenging, but if we manage the thing and we have a command on the work, it is one of the blessing that you have the multiple eggs in your baskets, and any egg, if something is dropped down or something broken, no problem. We have the solutions. We have the alternate that we can to choose, and you can still going on. And I think most of the in Pakistan environment, most of the people negate that thing. They thought that you should not use the multiple contractors in the fast track projects. It's a bit messy for the management. It's too much for someone who's managing project. He have to deal multiple of things or multiple of the peoples. But being as a Maven team, I think we learn in the past experience, and we have the mindset that we have to take this challenge. And this is one of the fascinating thing in this project environment, to deal the multiple contractors, multiple peoples, multiple trades, and handling them and allow and when command them. As a leader, you have to take the responsibility to manage all the things in the better way. So I just love it and I enjoyed it, and I always supported it to multiple contractors on the one project.
Anything to add, Junaid, in terms of following modern kind of best practices in terms of project management, documentation, etc.? The challenge of doing that here in this environment.
So I think it has to do again with the socio-political landscape of the country. No one is kind of an alien to the news that a lot of brain drain has happened in Pakistan. People have, jet-setted because they see themselves progressing somewhere else. And the project management arena or project controls arena is the biggest factor to this phenomenon. In the project environment that we're facing right now, we come across various young individuals who aspire to learn. We put them, and normally these are individuals who graduate out of university, have worked for a couple of years, are very good at documentation. They come in, they aspirely learn from our project environment, they get that skill on, and then they jet set. So that's one of the things that, I've personally felt that as so much as the fact that we do really enjoy managing a multi-contractor environment, There is still a lot of upskilling that needs to be done across the project controls arena to keep the ball rolling equally, driven by the various stakeholders on the project. And we're getting there. We've gotten there on this project. The reporting standards that we have, the reporting frequencies that we have, they're very patient to Novacare's project. I could give you one example. Most projects go through a progress report week, monthly, whereas we do one daily. So that goes on to show the level of monitoring that we apply on the project, and it's paying dividend, I would say, as the project managers on this project. This really helps us day on day to kind of preempt what's happening, the bottlenecks. And as Usman already I would say that BIM kind of acts as the superficial kind of an atlas for us, or an oracle, so to speak. Because if it weren't for BIM, the way that this project has been designed and the fast track nature of opening work fronts from various contractors, it wouldn't have been possible without having BIM integrated into the systems. So it has paid a lot of dividends. It has avoided a lot of abortive works on the project to have that level of clash detection in data project management.
And you guys also use technology quite extensively, right? So you use Procore for all the communication and coordination, a lot of the document management, etc. Also, do you want to talk a little bit about that also, and what makes it unique?
So it's the uniqueness is how well do you apply the software, basically. So for us, it's very easy. We have a daily run on Procore, which means that every site activity gets reported across the project, across every trade. Every bit of resources applied on the site get recorded every day into the system. That way we get to track the productivity of resources that are deployed on the project on a weekly basis at least. And it gives us real-time insights into, we sat across in a meeting room environment and kind of laying it out to all the contractors that despite having X number of resources and proclaimed productivities, the show is not running as it's supposed to run. So that's one facet. Then, our daily information management is managed through it. All the drawings are circulated. We have very recently, actually quite extensively, used estimations, which help us track progress and kind of keep dips on the progress reports if they're accurately written out in terms of the reported progress. So it helps us a lot. It also helps us to make it more transparent for our clients and contractors alike. So whatever stats that are put in are universal to all parties involved. Nobody can say that it was not communicated timely. You don't have to actually send out an email. It's all on our phones, on our iPads, on our computers. So it makes it very transparent for all the parties.
Yeah, no, I think the dream is to wake up, see the dashboard.
Yeah.
The one of the most fascinating feature in the App code is that what are my open items are. So in Delhi, I opened it and found out that that's something that is pending on my side. So it's easier for me to walk.
All right. There was a very unique machine. It felt like a plane was taking off. I'm not sure what that was. Okay. I think we'll switch gears into what makes this building, this particular building, special from a design and engineering perspective. But we'll switch locations. We'll go down to the atrium. Sure.